This is The Scoop for Thursday.
I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines. Mining giant Mosaic is seeking approval for a sweeping expansion of its phosphate waste stack in Hillsborough County. The Tampa Bay Times is reporting that it could potentially extend the towering mound of mildly radioactive phosphogypsum in Riverview by roughly 48 acres farther west towards US 41 and closer to the shores of Tampa Bay. If permits are approved, construction at the plant would begin in 2028. It would also keep the facility open for another 2 decades, according to a proposal the company presented earlier this year. Several acres of wetlands are listed in the new project area, including Archie Creek, that could be altered by the expansion. The Times notes that Mosaic is in the initial phases of permitting, with an application to state oversight officials anticipated by mid-December. The Council on American Islamic Relations has organized a national week of action demanding the immediate release of 16-year-old U.S. citizen Mohammed Ibrahim, who has been unjustly detained by Israeli authorities since February. The Florida native from Palm Bay was only 15 when he was seized by Israeli soldiers on February 15th in the middle of the night while visiting family in the occupied West Bank. He was arrested for allegedly throwing rocks at Israeli settlers and could get up to 20 years in prison for the offense. His supporters say there is scant evidence. Ibrahim has been denied contact with his family and access to adequate food and medical care. Speaking at a press conference in August, his uncle Zayad Kadour called on elected officials to help bring his nephew home.
Our politicians, from our city council members to the White House, need to do something about this. You know, we're reminded every day that in Israel, they're our biggest ally. They're a democracy. They're the only democracy in the Middle East. Let's have these two democracies talk to each other and get this kid home. Let's see what real democracy is. Let's get our boy back to his family, back to his parents.
The national days of actions to free Mohammed Ibrahim include rallies, online campaigns, phone banking, and letter-writing initiatives organized across the country. The effort will culminate in a national day of action on Saturday, November 8th, 1 day before Mohammed's next court appearance in Israel. Local actions are planned throughout the state, including Tampa, Jacksonville, Orlando, Melbourne, and South Florida. The Federal Aviation Administration announced it is reducing flight traffic by 10% at 40 U.S. airports, including Tampa International, beginning tomorrow. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said yesterday the move is necessary as the 13,000 air traffic controllers working without pay during the government shutdown are showing signs of fatigue and stress. Officials are urging travelers to check with airports on any upcoming flights you may have scheduled. The Florida Museum of Photographic Arts in Ybor is now showing The Soldier's Lens. As WMNF's Chris Young reports, the exhibit provides an intimate look at active duty service members, veterans, and families.
Tom Arthur kept a Kodak Brownie camera in his left breast pocket while he was serving in the Vietnam War.
And I kept it there just in case a bullet might find me. Maybe the camera would slow down the bullet, but unfortunately that never happened.
But what did happen is he captured photos that he now says helped him process the realities of a war. Images include soldiers crossing rivers in sampans, combat near a Buddhist pagoda, and patrols through flooded terrain reminiscent of the Florida Everglades. Arthur says the concept for a veterans photography showcase was born after a board member he had worked with on photo projects came to him with the idea.
It's a great thing to do for veterans and for the civilians that have never served in the military to go down and see what all these men and women experienced at various times in various parts of the world.
The works of Arthur and others are on display at the Florida Museum of Photographic Arts in Ybor City until December 7th. Chris Young, WMNF News.
It's going to be mostly cloudy today with highs in the low 80s and a 20% chance for some rain. Lows tonight will be in the upper 60s, and the same forecast is on tap for Friday. I'm Lisa Marzilli with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.